Thanksgiving had always felt less like a holiday and more like a yearly performance. By the time he turned 34, he knew exactly which role he was expected to play. The disappointment, the one who never seemed successful enough. The one relatives compared to cousins with bigger houses, better titles, and louder achievements. So when he walked into his parents' dining room that afternoon, he expected criticism. He just didn't expect honesty. The meal started normally. Turkey, small talk, the familiar rhythm of people discussing everyone else's life. His father spent most of dinner talking about responsibility. His mother nodded along. At first, nobody paid much attention. Then the conversation shifted toward living arrangements. One of his cousins mentioned moving into a new apartment. Someone joked about children who never leave home. A few people laughed. His father looked directly at him. "A burden like you will no longer live in my house." The table erupted in nervous laughter. He smiled automatically. It sounded like a joke. Then his mother pointed her fork toward him. "That's right." The laughter faded. Nobody seemed sure whether to keep smiling. His father didn't, neither did his mother. For a few seconds the room became strangely quiet. He looked from one face to another, waiting, expecting someone to laugh again. Nobody did. They were serious. The surprising part wasn't the statement itself. It was how calm he suddenly felt. No anger, no embarrassment, just clarity. Because for the first time he realized something. His parents genuinely believed they were the ones carrying him. They had no idea how much of their stability depended on him. Years earlier, after his father's business problems and a series of missed payments, he had quietly stepped in. Not publicly, not dramatically, a private arrangement. Every month, money left his account and helped cover part of their rent. The landlord knew. The property manager knew. His parents knew. But over time, everyone stopped talking about it. The support became invisible. Like electricity. Nobody notices it until it disappears. He finished dinner, thanked everyone for the meal, then left. No argument, no speech, no attempt to defend himself. The drive home felt oddly peaceful. For years he had spent enormous energy trying to convince his parents that he deserved respect. That night, he stopped trying. Instead, he opened his laptop, reviewed the payment history, read the agreement, checked the dates, then he sent a brief email. Beginning next month, he would no longer be contributing toward the property expenses. Nothing emotional, nothing hostile, just information. After pressing send, he went to bed. The next morning, his phone remained quiet. For several hours, nothing happened. Then shortly after lunch, the first call arrived. His mother. He let it ring. Then another. Then his father. Then 3 more calls. The messages began arriving shortly afterward. At first, confusion, then questions, then urgency. Apparently, the property manager had already contacted them. The conversation had been straightforward, professional, unavoidable. Support payments that had previously helped cover obligations were ending. Future arrangements would need to be addressed directly with the tenants. No threats, no drama, just facts. For the first time, an authority outside the family had entered the situation. And unlike relatives, paperwork didn't care who usually won arguments. His father called 6 times that evening. When they finally spoke, the confidence from Thanksgiving was gone. "What is this?" his father asked. He knew exactly what his father meant. "The payments are ending." A long silence followed. His father sounded genuinely stunned, as though the possibility had never occurred to him. "You can't just do that." The sentence hung between them, not because it was cruel, because it revealed everything. For years his parents had viewed the support as an obligation rather than a gift. He answered quietly, "I can." Another silence, this one longer. The conversation ended without resolution. Over the following week, family members started learning pieces of the story. Some were surprised, some embarrassed. A few privately admitted they had assumed his parents handled everything themselves. His father became increasingly withdrawn. His mother shifted between anger and apology. Neither reaction fixed the deeper problem. Money wasn't really the issue. The issue was perspective. Somewhere along the way, they had become so accustomed to receiving help that they stopped seeing it. And once something becomes invisible, gratitude often disappears with it. A month later his mother asked to meet for coffee. She looked tired, older than he remembered. Their conversation stayed careful. Neither person revisited Thanksgiving directly. Instead, they talked around it. About expectations, about assumptions, about the strange ways families can trap each other in outdated roles. When they finally stood to leave, she hesitated, then quietly said she hadn't realized how much pressure he had been carrying. It wasn't a complete apology, but it was closer than anything he had heard before. His relationship with his parents never returned to what it had been. Some distance remained, some wounds stayed unresolved. Yet something important changed. The next time they spoke, they treated him differently, not warmly, not perfectly, just differently, as an adult, as someone whose choices mattered. And for him, that was enough, because he hadn't stopped paying their rent to punish them. He had stopped paying because respect built on dependence was never respect at all. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is step out of the role people assigned you years ago and allow reality to speak for itself.